Hey everyone, I just got a Sure Shot and just wanted to go through kind of some troubleshooting with the game here. This is how I got the game. It was starting to get shopped out and the owner couldn't get it working and just eventually lost interest in it. First thing, the inserts, a lot of these are loose and I put a couple in the wrong spot, so I'll need to address those. I'll need to glue them back in, but most of those are loose, so anytime I pull up the play field they all drop. But game, nice shape, and kind of starts here. So if I start a game, score reel, the 10,000s position looks like it needs adjusted. The bonus unit, if you heard it count up to 15, goes to 15, then kicks the ball out. And just kind of some scoring here. If I hit these are 500 points, and that's good. If I hit the next one and the top middle one, those are all good. One thing that's happening is when I hit the rollovers, no points are scored. You can just hear it buzzing. And now when I hit those same 500, now an interesting thing happens. So again, if I hit, the 9, I don't get points for it. I can hear the relay kind of locking on, and now if I hit, going back and forth, if I hit this 900, or 500, watch what happens with the score. They go in unison, so that's one challenge I need to figure out. The other, if you notice, there are no playfield lights on right now. And so I think if I can figure out those things first, then I can kind of see where that leads me, but it's somewhat working. I can go ahead, drain the ball. You can hear the bonus count. However, no bonus is awarded, so that might be another thing to look at unless one of the other things fix that. But this is kind of the starting point, so I'll keep updating. Thanks. I'm at the back of the game here and decided to tackle the 10,000 score reel, not advancing first. I did create a course with basic pinball that kind of goes over some of the score reel resets, and you can find a description of the course below in the description. I'll put a link down there, but basically what happens is you start a game, this AX relay is going to engage, and so normal states like this, it's going to pull in. That's going to change the states on the switches, and that's going to allow the score reel to reset. If I come up to the score reel here, if the second switch, which is the run out switch, which is this one right here, if this is open, it's not going to advance the score reel. So this is going to be open in the 0 position. It's going to be closed in positions 1 through 9. So if it's closed, it's going to keep advancing all the way until it gets back up to 0. The bottom switch basically tells that AX relay your job's done. You can turn off. So when all of these bottom switches on the 10s, 100s, 1000s, and 10,000s are closed, along with one score motor switch, it's going to come back and turn off this AX relay. So the one with the orange wire and this one right here, it's going to engage. If I can get it with one hand, there it goes. And this stops the reels from resetting, and basically the game's ready to go. But these two things have to work together. So when my score reel wasn't advancing, I knew it was these switches, so you can kind of see. And the top switch that I didn't go over, that's the 9th position switch. When your score reel's in the 9th position, so on this game it would be 90,000. When that advances to the 100,000, this top switch is then going to tell basically the 100,000 light that it needs to turn on. Same's true if I was on the 1,000 score reel here. If I had 9,000 and I score another 1,000 points, it's going to tell the reel next to it, the 10,000, that it needs to advance one. So what I did to fix this problem was just adjust these switches. So 0 position, the bottom one's closed, the other two are open. Next positions 1 through 9, the bottom switch is open and then that middle switch is closed. And then if it matters on the last position, the 9th position, that's closed in the 9th position, but it won't matter for resetting score reels. So move on to the next problem, which is the display lights not lighting up. The next problem, it's hard to tell here, but my displays aren't on, and it's a pretty simple circuit. Basically there's a fuse and the hold switch, and what I have here, see if I can get the tilt hole relay, it's this switch right here, and I notice if I fiddle with it a little bit the light will come on, and this is just needs adjusted, so try to get my finger out of the way here. So that was the start relay, so now I'm trying to just wiggle this a little bit to turn on the light. There, it finally went. So now when I come up, you can see the lights are on. So what I just did is I just took and cleaned the one switch on the hold relay, and that brought the playfield lights back on when I just tested it. The other test I want to do is I put all the scores on one. The ones column on the far right is a fake digit and there isn't a score reel behind it. So what should happen when I reset the game, the 4-1 should go to 0. So let's go ahead and test that here. And you could hear the bonus unit count up to 15. When it does that, it then kicks the ball out. So everything's looking good here. Let's go ahead and look at the other problem I had, and you can see the score 0. I'm going to hit one of the bullseye targets here, and it doesn't matter which one. And if I come up, you can see it scores 500, and that's what it should do. One problem that I'm having though is if I hit one of the rollover switches, 1 through 5 on the top, 10, 6, 4, 2, coming to the right, 3, 5, 9, or 11, I get some odd scoring. So let's say I'm going to roll over this 9 right here. The light goes out, but I didn't score any points. And now when I hit one of those targets, I have 500 points. And what happens is now I have 4,000 points. So I just scored 3,500 points. And now if I hit that target again, it works fine. So it only happens when one of the rollover switches are hit. And a lot of times people will say, how do I know what to look for in its schematics? And on this one, what I would do is I would look at the lights, what turns off this 9 light. Also, I have 100 points being scored, 1,000 points being scored. And kind of the other big clue is, since I'm scoring 500 points, score motor 1A is going to be called. That's the one that's pulsed 5 times during one rotation. So on the schematic, there's only 2 switches that are 1A. So I would look at both of those and try to see which one involves the 100, 1,000, and I believe this is the 9B relay. So I'm going to look at that and see what I need to fix. But game's getting close to being able to play a game here. Back in the bottom panel here, I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with the scoring. And if I hit a rollover switch, I can see that relay E is engaging. I just hit it, it's locking on, but it's not unlocking. And then the other thing I can notice is the P is also being pulled in when I trip it. And so I need to investigate why is that E relay not unlocking. Here's how I kind of troubleshoot. I like to troubleshoot with the game off, and some people like meters, some people don't, so it's just your preference. But on my meter, I like to set it to the ohm setting. I don't like the continuity beep. I know on my meter, if it's 20 ohms or less, it's going to beep, and I don't want that. I want about 2 ohms or less on my meter, and yours might vary, but what I've done is I've hooked up one lead to the score motor, And kind of what I was doing troubleshooting this is my E-relay is locking on, which is fine, but it's supposed to call the score motor, and my score motor is not spinning. And so what I'm going to do is just check this circuit and see where there's a break at. So again, I have it connected to the score motor here, and you can kind of tell it's a red yellow wire, and over here it's kind of hidden, but I have a red yellow wire, and again I'm looking for under 2 ohms on my meter, so I'm fine here. Next thing I'm going to do is just move it to the other side, which is this red blue, and now I'm just going to manually engage the relay here. And again, that looks good. And so from here, it goes to the P relay. So I'm going to follow the same process. There's the red blue here. And I'm not going to be able to do this with one hand, but one thing I can do is jumper this one. But when my hand was free, I can move this. And what I've noticed is this switch, I'll try to zoom in on it. It looks closed, but when I check it with the meter, it is not closed. I cleaned it, so what I'm going to do next is just tighten it a little bit more and see if that will call the score motor, and I'll repeat the process, see if I'm getting current all the way through this. What I just did was tighten that switch on the P relay, checked it with my meter. I was getting less than 1 ohm, which showed that it was closed. So even though it visually looked like it closed, it wasn't kind of electrically, if that's even a word, but I closed that and now it's working. So I'll hit the 6. I'm at 4,000 right now. And now I get the 4,000, probably because I have some balls lit. I need to figure out kind of how the scoring works next, but hit the bullseye, get 500, hit a 3. Looks like I get 4,000 there. And looks like it's scoring now. So I'll keep going through, see what pops up, and keep recording what I find. Found a couple other problems, and if you notice the game over light's flashing, this does not flash when the game over after startup, so something's going on there. Also I have some ball and play lights not working. Other thing, my bonus is inconsistent when it counts, so let's go ahead and look at it. So the way the game works, if I hit a rollover, let's say 5 down here, I get 4,000 points. And 2 balls are lit because I'm on a 3-ball game instead of 5. When the ball drains, I should get 2,000 points bonus because 2 lights are lit. That time I only got 1, and now if I hit the 1, I got 3 lit, and I should get 12,000 when the ball drains. And that time I did get 3,000, so it's inconsistent. If I do one more, I'll hit the 3 this time. I have 5 balls lit, 16,000 plus 5,000, I should get 21,000. And also notice my ball and play light is not lit. This might be a bad ball, but with the game over not blinking here in a second, I think there's something else going on with the ball count unit, but I'm going to drain the ball here. And I did get 21, and I've done this a couple times and it's really no rhyme or reason yet, so I'm going to dig in a little bit more. But notice my game over is not blinking, and I just heard the ball count. It counted all the way up to 6, so it should be game over here, so I need to investigate that also. So 2 more things I need to look, but it's getting there. Here I'm investigating the sequence mix. This is where the bonus is pretty much counted, and one thing I noticed is this is not on tight, and there's somewhat of a gap over here also, if I can get it. So I'm going to adjust this and see if that was my problem. Went ahead and adjusted this. You can see that this should be all smooth and rounded together. And same with this side, so that might have been my issue. I'll go back and double check now and see if that did it or not. Well, that didn't work. I thought it might have. So what I'm going to do next is I just brought this whole series bank down, and I'm just going to go in and clean all the contacts. And when I do that, I just do isopropyl on a Q-tip, give it a couple wipes. I'll take my Dremel tool and I'll just buzz through all of these here and see if that helps and improves the reliability of it. Well, after cleaning all those, it's still not working. So now I'm coming to the bonus score unit here, and one thing I noticed is just kind of a little sticky. If I pull up this, it really doesn't have much tension, so I am going to clean this up a little bit and see if that helps. It is hitting the rivets cleanly, and I did wipe down and clean the rivets, so I did not clean this, but it looks like there's some gunk on it, so I'm going to take this top part off and give it a clean and see if that helps with the bonus scoring. I went ahead and cleaned that spring, and a lot better tension on this, and just kind of maybe a general tip on how I set this up. This is in the 0 position, and I don't have it tight yet, and so what I like to do is just move it up one, and it should line up with this first rivet here. So I can move it. I'm going to line it up and then just tighten the screws here. But a lot easier to adjust this when it's in the first position and not trying to guess in the 0 position. So once I have it lined up, hard to do with one hand here. I'm back again, and I think I am off one rivet on the bonus unit count. So what I've done is I have 1 lit, 11 lit, and 15 lit. It's advanced 1 unit, and when I just manually pull in, it should ding on 1, which it does. I should get another one at 11. There it is. And then the last one, I don't get a ding, and what happens is it's the end of stroke here. It's not actuated one last time, so if I would advance one more time, I would get it. So I think, just looking at this, that my bonus unit disc is off 1. So let me try that, see if that brings this finally back to scoring the bonus correctly. And I believe that did it. I just did one test and it worked, so I got all 15 lit here. So 36,500 plus 15,000, I should get 51,500 when I drain the ball here. And there's 51,500. So problem was probably my mistake. I was just off one rivet. It should have been on the first one at the start and not -1. So this is up and going, and we'll continue on and see what other problems we have. But this is completely working, scoring correctly at the moment. And I got my lights back on. This was 2 switches that turn these lights on, and they are I'm looking at the schematic here, the H switch and along with the O switch. I just went in, cleaned and adjusted, and that brought back my lights at the end of the game. So another problem fixed. Playing the game here, I'm looking at the instruction card. Rollover score 3,000 points, and notice what happens when I do a rollover. I get 4,000 points. So checking the schematics, I think I know where this is at, and I'll switch over and kind of show you. I think it's the score motor here. So let me go there real quick here. The way the scoring works for 5,000 points is you get 1,000 points 5 times, and what should happen is score motor switch should open up the same time as the 1A switch, and this is going to happen twice, so you're only going to get 3 of the 5. I'm getting 4, so maybe more advanced way troubleshooting this is I'm going to remove the score motor jack here. That way that cuts power to it and I can manually rotate it. What happens also is this E-relay 500 or 5,000 point relay is engaged, so I'm going to turn that on, and it's locked on. And now I should hear, if I look at this bottom switch down here, maybe we can get down in there and show it, every time that goes, it's going to go 5 times, but I should only get 3 bells. So let's listen here and see what happens. So 1, that was in the first position. 2, that bell should not be sounding. 3, here comes 4, it should not sound, and it doesn't. And then the 5th should sound, and then we're back to the home position. So what I need to do is check the switch that corresponds with the second 1A switch transitioning, and I can look at the schematic here and bring it up, and something over here, I believe on cam 2 or switch stack 2 here needs to be adjusted. So let me double check that real quick. Looking at the score motor switch 2C here, it's the second one. I don't know if I can zoom in without my finger in the way, but it's the one, it's that one that I'm wiggling. It should be open in this spot, which it is, and when I turn it, it does close. So this is correct. And I was kind of scratching my head on what was going on because I was still getting the 4 rings, and I noticed, it's going to be hard to see, but this black is in the wrong position. It should be in position L, which is up 1 more on this silver fork. I can't remember what it's called, but it is in the wrong spot. On score motor 2, this is the only one that should be in the L position. All the others should be in the S position, but I think this is what's giving me my timing issue. So I'm going to move this up 1 spot or down to this empty spot here and see if that fixes the 4,000 points, which should be 3,000 points. Here's a better position of that, and it's in the wrong position, so let's see if I can do this one-handed. I doubt I can. I just need to move this up 1 spot here. So. And now it's in the right spot, so I'm going to put that back. Switch 2 or score motor 2, this is the only one that's in the L position. All the others should be in the S position, so let me go ahead and switch that back and see if that fixes it. And as you can tell by the score up here, I just tried it, I got 3,000, so if I hit the rollover, and now I get these 6,000, so that was it, so keep going. Probably next thing I'm going to do is take out these inserts and reglue them. Every time I bring the play field up, they pop off. A lot of these are loose, and probably wipe down the play field, clean it up a little bit, wax it, put the rubbers back on and all the posts, and start playing some games, see if anything else bounces up, but this is about done. I'm back at this and believe I am done with this. I went ahead, glued the inserts back in, cleaned the playfield, waxed it, added the plastics and rubbers, but I believe this is ready to go. Score wheels were reset, game over light is flashing. I'm trying to play a game one-handed here and see how well I can do with the ball here. Bonus counting correctly, so I believe this is good. Let's get one flip in here before. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and hopefully do more of these. Thanks.